Hey friends and new friends, welcome back. We're talking about 25 plants you can put down, well, plants and seeds in March. Zone 7, of course. When you think March, think Brassicas. That A, R, and C in March, Brassicas. Brassicas. 11 of the 25 we're going to talk about are actually Brassicas. So let's get started. Let me find my eyeballs here. First on the plants, broccoli and cabbage plants, and even cauliflower. Broccoli plants, you probably want to get them out by the middle of March. They'll take a little longer to develop, so just think St. Patrick's Day, get them out by then. Cabbage plants and even cauli, you can do that all through March if you want to. Of course, if you started your seeds already, you could put them out. We have some here. They're not really, well, they're true plants, but they have true leaves, but they're not well-developed plants. You'll see those kochias there. We use that to cover it up. It was open today because it was nice in the 60s. By the way, I set those over cabbage seeds in those squares, trap a little heat in there and help them germinate as well. We started those cabbage back in January, just an experiment. Anyway, so those are the plants, broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower. You can also start cabbage seeds and cauliflower seeds, but you want to get them in by the middle of March. They're going to take time to develop, of course, if you start from seeds, so you want to get the heads on there as quick as possible before it warms up. And then Brassicas seeds 5 through 10. This is all of March. You can plant this stuff. Kale, kohlrabi, mustard, and then the big 3, radish, rutabaga, and turnips. In fact, we've already planted radish, rutabaga, and turnips in this bed here. I believe that's 4 by 4 on the rutabaga. It is, so that's 16. Is that 16? Yeah, that's 16 rutabaga. And then radish, there's a square there of 16. And then 3 squares of turnips. And we planted those at 16 as well for the greens. Okay, you want to spread it out to about 9 if you're looking for the root. And on the back side of that bed, we'll repeat all of that in March. So we're going to stagger plant those items. And then last is Chinese cabbage, about the middle of March till the end of March. That will be going here over in our shed bed, and we'll slip in probably 4 in a square foot in that bed right there. So that's it. Brassicas, there's 11, 3 plants. You could also throw in, by the way, collards if you wanted to. Generally in our area it's recommended to put them in the summer and use them for a fall harvest, but you could start collards. There's also chinopods, beets, spinach, and Swiss chard, which basically Swiss chard is a beet, it's just the leaf part of it. The beet seeds you can do the middle of March to the middle of April. Spinach, however, you want to get that in by the middle of March because it bolts quicker when it warms up. Not that you couldn't try it after the middle of March, but it's best to do it by the middle of March. And then Swiss chard, all of March, even into April, you'll be fine there. Some other things you could do, we're doing 3 of these. 1, peas, till about the middle of March. And you can see, well, you can see over here, we're germinating some seeds right now. Wet paper towel method, just keep it moist. It's kind of a combination jump start and germination check. And they will be going in this container by my greenhouse. And yes, those are topiary templates, stands, whatever you want to call them. It's another test. We do a lot of experimenting here. The other 2 containers you see there have the A-frames, so they will serve our peas in a standard fashion, but I wanted to see how those topiaries would do. And those 3 containers, they will be spaced, right? So we will succession seed those containers. I have a video on all that stuff if you want to check that out. And then potatoes, of course, through March, a nightshade. And you can see here, we have 2 beds prepared. One will be red Pontiac, one will be Yukon. 75 pounds of cow manure and 25 pounds of sand per bed. Plus, I think I put in about 14 ounces of holly tone, sulfur, 5% sulfur in that. Trying to get that pH down, and potatoes like that lower pH. It's another experiment. Cow manure compost is a soil amendment. Sand is part of soil, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. We're trying to keep it from getting too damp. We'll probably put a video up on that later this year as well. You could also put in New Zealand spinach. Has anybody ever grown that? I've never grown that. It's not a chenopod. It's, what is this? ISOCE? I don't know. It's an oddball. But you can sow that through March and April if you want. Again, leave comments down there if you've ever grown it and have any recommendations, including don't bother if you're in zone 7. I can't recommend it because I've never tried it. Leaf lettuce, now we grow that. You got leaf lettuce and head lettuce. We grow leaf lettuce exclusively. We don't even fool around with head lettuce, but if you do, you want to get the seeds in by the middle of March. Same thing, you need to give them time so they can form up their head. And leaf lettuce, you can succession plant it all through March, stagger it out. And then last, the big bonus, inside. Yep, you can start some seeds inside. The big 3 C's, cantaloupe, cucumber, and watermelon. And they're the big 3 C's because they're curcubids, right? So you can start those. There's a sweet spot. You can start these a little earlier, a little later, but the sweet spot is March 16th to 23, right around that spring equinox. And but you can continue later, or you could stall it a little bit, especially cucumbers, so that you can have a second crop later in the year, you know, late summer, early fall. But you can start, and probably should start, your cantaloupe, cucumber, and watermelons in March, right there, the 16th to the 23rd. And then, of course, things that we could have started in February, you could still start in March. In the nightshade family, that would be tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants. But if, those are seeds. If you get plants, make sure you have a closed or containers to cover them up. We've done it. We've planted nightshades in March, protected them from frost and freeze, but we would never put all of our stuff out, all of our nightshades out in March. It's pretty risky, right? Well, that's it. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, and happy gardening in 2023.